Meet the newest addition to the family, my 2011 Audi S5. It is sporting a 354 horsepower V8 engine, R-tronic 6-speed automatic transmission, and an optional sport differential for added fun in the corners, though that won't do me much good in the city. Now, before I say anything else, I was not going to purchase a 6-speed manual. Not only are they difficult to find, but they're a major pain to drive in dense cities like mine. Most of you who drive stick know that. I'll trade raw mechanics for ease of use any day of the week, especially for a car like this. But of course, your preferences may differ from mine. I want to apologize for the wind. I know that's really rough on you guys. I do apologize for that. But I bought an Audi S5, 2011 V8, 4.2 liter. And it's fitted with pretty much everything you could want in the car. It's not the Prestige model, which is like the highest end model that you could get of the S5 in the time, but it does have all the extra things that a Prestige would have apart from push to start, which is kind of weird. The guy bought the Premium Plus model, and then he put everything that the Prestige has in it except for push to start. So I wonder how much that cost at the time. But this is my car. It has about 67,000 miles on it. I just bought it. I'm not leasing it or doing anything weird. Obviously it's a used car, so I kind of had no choice but to buy it. But there are a few things that I do want to show you that I'm not going to talk about in the original audio overlay, because I don't know, you kind of have to see some of these things to really get the idea across. So let's take a tour. No joke, I think this is one of the best looking sport coupes money can buy, but that also isn't too flashy to where it draws too much unwanted attention. Speaking of which, I paid less than you probably think. Before I reveal the figure though, consider this. It's a 6-year-old car with around 67,000 miles. It even hit a deer at one point in its life, somewhere in New Jersey. I mean, check it out. The Carfax literally says it hit a deer. There's a first time for everything. So the price I paid was exactly $22,760 US, excluding tax, title, and license. I'll be registering the car in Florida, however I purchased the car here in Lafayette, Louisiana at the local Audi dealer. Excellent folks over there, by the way. You should check them out if you're in the market. So after TTL, I'll be looking at around $25,000 out of pocket. Not bad if I do say so myself. I certainly could have gotten one for cheaper, but at the expense of additional mileage, and these cars aren't the friendliest to repair. Audi parts are in general expensive, so we'll see how long I can go with this one before I gotta shell out more cash. Off to the side, you'll find custom accented mirrors, power everything by the way, V8 badges on the left and right panels, and single driver passenger doors. This is a coupe after all. This is the Meteor Gray color from Audi by the way. I like its hint of blue, not too flashy, but not the typical white, black, or gray either. Now these are not stock rims, these are Hartmann rims, and I can see why the previous owner chose these. If you're not aware, the RS5 features the 5-spoke, I believe 20-inch rims. These are only 19s, but I'm not going to bother wasting extra money to increase the size by an inch. I think they look perfectly fine the way they are. In fact, this is one of the only like non-stock rim kits that I would have applied to this car, and I like the fact that the previous owner went with the RS5 design. Now this is the stock S5 grille, but seeing as though the previous owner decided to go with the RS5 rims, I think what I'm going to do is swap this grille with the RS5 grille, which is actually more of like a mesh design. There isn't this ugly front license plate holder there. I mean, this is all just disgusting. So I think I'm going to replace this whole thing. It'll still have the Audi badge, and it'll still have the S5 badge, but it'll just be a mesh grille instead, which I think will make this car look a bit more aggressive. Now, one of the key physical differences between the S5 and something I'm sure you've seen quite a bit on the road, the Audi A5, is the quad exhaust system. It's just a split H-pipe, so you have 2 exhaust ports on each side, and that's just the result of having a V8. Now, the V6 supercharged engine and the 2013 and up models do the exact same thing, but other than just looking at the badge, this is one of the ways you can tell whether or not you're sporting an S5 or an A5. The taillights are stylish and unique, the dual exhaust tips on either side give it a subdued GTFO appeal, and the subtle badges keep it on the DL for anyone who isn't an Audi enthusiast. I mean, you wouldn't think much of this car just driving behind it, even though it is sporting a solid V8 engine with sports trim and a mean growl, but that's what I enjoy most about this car. Apart from the inconsiderate pricks who recklessly disregard any and all cars next to which they park, you won't have any problem with unwarranted attention and looky-loos. It's just a sports coupe, no different than a BMW 335i or even a Chevy Camaro SS in that regard, though I wouldn't trade this interior for any other. One of the cool things about this car that I did not know when I was inquiring about the S5 is how much trunk space it has. This has got to be one of the largest trunks in a coupe that I've ever seen, and it goes way back here. It just keeps going further and further back. Let's see if I can get in there. I'm actually going to try to get in there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely make this work. Oh, there's a subwoofer right here. Yeah, there's room for about 3 people, so if you're a kidnapper, this is the car for you. I'm not endorsing that statement, but just matter of fact. Now, one of the key features about this particular model that I really like, that made me want to buy this car, were the red leather seats. Now, you can get these seats in a variety of colors. You can get the white ones, the black ones, even like the kind of burgundy orange color. But this is just the straight up red leather. And I know that's a bit exotic and a bit ostentatious in most cases, but for a car like this, I think that it just makes the interior pop, brings everything to life, and just all in all makes me enjoy driving in the car a bit more than just regular black leather seats would. It sounds a bit gaudy, but trust me, in person, these look pretty cool. The prominent S5 floor badge gives way to a crazy cool interior that's sure to impress even other Audi owners. Red leather seats, complimentary carbon fiber trim, Audi's trademark MMI interface, and driver-positioned navigation system. This thing is pretty cool. Check this out. I was actually programming my voice so that the system would recognize me when I was talking over a bunch of others in the car.
2314.
2314.
Navigate to John Smith.
Navigate to John Smith.
9023.
9023.
A few things I'm thinking about changing. I might swap the steering wheel for the flat bottom 2013 steering wheel, just because this one's a bit bulkier, not as appealing in that sense. And I might change the shifter as well. I know you can't see it. I'm inside because the wind is terrible outside. But that shift lever there is kind of just bland. I think I might upgrade that to the 2013 model as well. Now, a weird quirk about this car, the fact that the sunroof isn't really a sunroof. It's actually more of like a moonroof, and the back end of it just kind of lifts up for extra ventilation, I guess. That's the only function there. Because of the XM satellite radio antenna, whatever this is back here, radio antenna, you can't slide the glass back like the newer models can. I think that's the excuse that Audi was using at the time. So we're stuck with just this 1 inch of clearance here. Now, one of the only issues this car had when I bought it was the hood lever is just dead. There's no way to keep this hood propped up. There is no just mechanical lever that you can use to keep the hood open. So if I want to clean the engine, which it clearly has not been cleaned in several months, I have to have somebody hold the hood open, or I can try to do it like this, but that's really awkward, so gotta get that fixed.
Back to Audi's Quattro technology for a second. As someone who's driven GTRs and R8s on many occasions, this feeling is really no different. The pull is almost instantaneous. Wait a minute, does an all-wheel drive system pull or push you, or both? Well, most of the power is sent to the rear wheel, so let's say push. This S5's packing nearly as much torque as it is horsepower and can propel you from 0 to 60 in roughly 5 seconds flat with the automatic transmission. A little under 5 if you want to sound really cool, 4.94, whatever. Intentional launches are insanely fast, but the added weight from Audi's Quattro system definitely slows her down at higher speeds. Nonetheless, it's a thrill to drive pretty much anywhere, and I'm always trying to catch the next red light.
Now I'm going to attempt to get into the back seats. I know that it's possible, but it's a difficult process. Gotta wait for it to get to the position it needs to get to. All right. And nope, I gotta keep going. Let's see. Is that as far forward as that seat rolls? Wow, they are not concerned about large people getting into the back of these cars. Oh. It's actually quite roomy, and the reason for that is because the car isn't just like a steady slope to the trunk. It actually has kind of like an uplifted back end, and you can see that from like a side shot of the car. So it actually gives you a bit more headroom than you might expect. My head, isn't hitting the ceiling. I got about three or so inches. So if you're about 6'1", 6'2", that might be the upper limit of compatibility for back seat riding anyway. God, getting out is just as difficult as getting in. I'm serious though, if you weigh like around 200 pounds, good luck fitting between these seats. I can't believe it doesn't roll any more forward than that. I'm finding new things about my car even in this video.
When I first saw this car on cars.com, I did not realize it was right down the road from me. I had a 500-mile radius turned on. Literally a 10-minute drive to the local Audi dealer, which was actually just built a few years ago. I don't know what else to call that. That sounds like fate to me. There aren't any dealers in the Panama City area though, so any official maintenance will have to be done in Mobile, Alabama. That's, a 3-hour drive. Let's hope and pray that a trip like that isn't warranted anytime soon. So you know the routine. Thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell me in the comments what you think I should name her. This is Salazar Studio. Thanks for driving with us.